Okay, in this video we're going to look at question number 8, which is on page 86 and 87 in your packet there. 86 and 87. Question 8 says, when Gretchen walks on her treadmill, she burns 125 calories per mile. And since we talked about this equation and this story once before in chapter 2, we found that the equation is C equals 125 times m, where C is our dependent, and that is the number of calories she burns, and m represents the number of miles that she walks on her treadmill, and multiplied by the number of calories per mile, her rate of change. Since she's starting with 0 calories burned, the starting point, which we don't even write on here, we just would have that 0. 0 would be her starting point, and she has to, when you're not doing anything, you're not burning any calories. So we start with just C equals 125 m. Okay, so we've got 3 questions here to look at. Question A, set up and solve an equation to calculate how far Gretchen has to walk to burn 300 calories. So just like any other problem, if we've got the equation, we're going to start by copying down our equation. C equals 125 times the number of miles. And we're going to figure out how many miles she needs to go. How far? How many miles? Normally we have the independent amount and we try to calculate the dependent amount. But in this case, like any other solving equations, often we have the dependent amount, we have the answer, we're trying to find what number will give us that answer. So we're trying to find out what amount of miles will give us 300 calories. So we can rewrite our equation in this way. 300, now that we know that C is 300, we can put that into the equation and use our problem-solving skills to figure out how many miles that would be. And since 300 is equal to 125 times m, I'm just going to show the steps, even though the steps may be a little obvious to you. We need to divide. Since we don't know the number we're multiplying by, we can use division to work backwards to figure out what that missing number m should be. 125 minus 125 gives us a single group of m's, or 1m. Sometimes people can write it down if it helps you. I'll leave it off because it sometimes can be a little confusing as well. But I'm going to leave it as an m, just a single m, and I know that there's a 1 there. And 300 divided by 125 gives us 2.4, 2 4/10 miles. So she would have to walk 2 4/10 miles on her treadmill to burn off those 300 calories. All right. Question B. There's a couple different ways we can answer question B. We're going to see if we can get through both of them here. If Gretchen walks 3.4 miles per hour on her treadmill, okay, how long will it take her to burn those 300 calories? All right. So, how long will it take her to do that? Report your answer to the nearest minutes. All right, so we've got hours and we've got minutes here. 3.4 miles per hour. So, well, one way to look at this is if we take our answer from the first part, we know that she can do 300 calories in 2.4 miles at that speed. But now let's take a look here again. Let's work our way through this. 3.4 miles. Well, how many calories would that be if she were to walk 3.4 miles? If it took her an hour to walk 3.4 miles, how many calories would she actually burn? Well, we can go back to our equation. Let's just say in 1 hour, let's go back and figure out the other way. I'll use a different color here. Let's go with blue. C equals 125 times the number of miles. And this time we're going to figure that out. We know the number of miles, 3.4. And let's figure out, okay, how many calories would that be? We multiply 125 times 3 4/10 miles. We're going to get the number of calories that she can burn as 400 and 425 calories. So 425 calories per hour. All right, now how does that help us? Well, we need to know how long it will take her to do 300 calories. So 300 calories. Well, we can set this up as a proportional. And this is probably the best way to do this, is thinking as a proportion. So 425 calories, and we want to know how much is 300. Well, per hour would be the same as 60 minutes. So 425 calories in 60 minutes, because that's what it's asking. It's asking for the nearest minute. And we want to compare that to how many minutes for 300 calories. We want to know how many minutes for that. So the trick is now we've got to figure out how do we convert between 425 and 300. Well, one way to do this is to always go down to the 1. How much is 1? How much is the 1? Now, how much for 1 minute? How many calories does she burn in a single minute? Right? How many calories does she burn in a single minute? I'm just going to slide the next question down a little bit so we have some more space. All right? And the way to do that is we can simply just divide 425 by 60, and that will give us how many per minute. So I'm going to get my calculator out here. 425 divided by 60 is going to give us a nice little number like that. So about 7.08 calories per minute. So 7.08 calories in 1 minute, roughly speaking. All right? And that's going to help us because now we know how much in 1 minute. And we need to figure out, well, how many minutes is she going to need? So we can take, in 2 minutes, she would burn twice that. In 3 minutes, she would burn 3 times that. We want to know how long it'll take to do 300 calories. We can do 300, and we can divide by our 7.08 calories per minute. We can take that and divide and see how many minutes that will be. Again, let's go to our handy dandy calculator. Slide it over here. 300 divided by 7.08. We can ignore the little 3's on there, although they are kind of important as well, but since we're dealing with smaller numbers, they won't affect us as much. So it looks like we would get 42.37 minutes or so. 42 minutes. 42 minutes and about 4/10. So about 42.4 minutes. And it does say round to the nearest minute, so technically we could just say the 42. About 42 minutes is what it'll take her. That's how we would do the proportional way of thinking. What do we need? We go down to the 1. We start with what we have. We start with what we know. We know she can burn 425 calories in 60 minutes. We get down to that single unit rate. How much would that be? 7.08 calories in 1 minute. And then we can convert out and go, oh, okay, we can get 300 divided by each calorie, each minute. Each minute is 7.08 calories. We can get down to 42 minutes.